Hello, I am going to be doing a presentation on the Cubone-Kangaskhan Controversy. This is for a public speaking class that I'm doing. Yes, it's actually for school. And I decided to upload it so just to test myself public speaking this thing. So let's see how this goes. Alright, the Cubone-Kangaskhan Controversy by Thrash02. You're probably asking yourself, what is a Pokemon? Well, who better to explain it to you than the Pokemon professor himself, Professor Oak.
Hello there. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. This world is inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for fights. Myself, I study Pokemon as a profession.
Alright then. The details. Pokemon is a turn-based RPG game. There are 150 Pokemon in the original game. Nowadays there's 649. Pokemon can evolve by meeting certain criteria, like gaining a certain level or being in contact with a certain stone. Like, if you get your Bulbasaur to level 16, it'll evolve into an Ivysaur. Then at level 32, it'll become a Venusaur. But if you give your Pikachu a Thunderstone, it'll evolve into a Raichu, no matter what level it is. So it's different for every Pokemon. Some are for level, some are for stone, some are for trading with held items, but we'll get into that later. Each Pokemon has one or two of the 15 types, being normal, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, ghost, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, and bug, as well as dark and steel, which were introduced in Generation 2. So I guess there's actually 17 types, but we're dealing with Gen 1 Pokemon here, so from Gen 2 we're just kind of ignoring some of those statistics. Alright, the objective of the Pokemon games: catch a team of up to 6 different Pokemon and challenge the 8 different gym leaders in the 8 different towns to earn the gym badges. Each gym leader uses a different type of Pokemon. Like, for example, the first gym leader you encounter is Brock of Pewter City, who uses rock types. And he will give you the Boulder badge. The second one is Misty in Cerulean City, who gives you the Cascade badge. She uses water type Pokemon. And after you have all 8 badges, you may go to the Pokemon League and challenge the Elite Four and the champion, or the current Pokemon champion, to see if you can yourself become the champion. Because if you beat the champion, then you are the champion. That's how Pokemon works. And once you beat the champion, then you beat the game. There's other stuff after you do that, but that's the end of the main game. Alright, so let's get on to the task at hand. We have Cubone here, who is number 104 in the Pokedex. The Pokedex is an electric encyclopedia of all of the Pokemon. It's an item given to you in every game. But the general Pokedex, Cubone is number 104. It's the lonely Pokemon, a ground type, evolves into Marowak at level 28. Here's its Pokedex entry from Pokemon Emerald. It pines for the mother it will never see again. Seeing a likeness of its mother in the full moon, it cries. The stains on its skull it wears are from its tears. Yes, Cubone is a sad Pokemon. When its mother died, it actually took its mother's skull and its mother's femur. Its skull to use as a helmet to protect itself, and its femur to use as a weapon, again, to protect itself. So Cubone keeps these things as sort of battle armor and weaponry, as well as memorials to his mother. So they work at a double standard. Alright, and here is Kangaskhan, number 115 in the Pokedex, the parent Pokemon, normal type. Kangaskhan does not evolve, and its Pokemon Black and White Pokedex entries because they share the same entry. It raises its offspring in its belly pouch. It lets the baby play only when it feels safe. And that is Kangaskhan. Okay, now for the controversy. The controversy is over the theory that Kangaskhan is the dead mother of Cubone versus the mindset that Cubone evolved from Marowak as its mother. Some people think that Kangaskhan died and the baby that's in its pouch, who I've nicknamed Kangaskid, as you can see in the far right, there's a Kangaskhan with a baby in its pouch, and on the far left is Kangaskid, who actually it's technically a baby Kangaskhan, but I'm just calling it that to make it easier. Alright, Kangaskhan's evidence. In the games, there are one of the criterias for evolving is a held item. For example, if you had a Seadra and it was holding a dragon scale and you traded it to somebody, during the trade it would evolve into a Kingdra. There are many Pokemon who evolve this way. There are some Pokemon who evolve just from trading, some that need to be holding something. If you give Onix a Steel Coat, it will evolve into a Steelix. There's many examples. But some people theorize that if you give Kangaskid the held item of its mother's skull, and whether it goes through a trade or a traumatic experience or just living on its own, it will eventually evolve into a Cubone. Another piece of evidence is Kangaskhan's skull plate. As you can see on Kangaskhan's head, there's a plate, like a black plate on its head. People theorize that that's just like some thin skin that the baby can easily scrape away to extract the skull. It's a very gruesome image, I know, but well, that's Pokemon for you. Alright, so here is Marowak's evidence, the evolved form of Cubone. Marowak's evidence, the different type thing. No other Pokemon actually completely changes its type when it evolves, with the exception of Eevee. But Eevee is a special Pokemon. It can change into, in the first generation, 3 different Pokemon depending on what stone you give it. With a Fire Stone, it can become Flareon. With a Thunder Stone, it can be Jolteon. With a Water Stone, it can be Vaporeon. In later generations, it can become other type of Pokemon: Psychic type Espeon, the Dark type Umbreon, the Ice type Glaceon, the Grass type Leafeon. It can evolve into a bunch of different things with a bunch of different criteria. And it's a special Pokemon, as it's the only Pokemon that completely changes its type through evolution. But no other Pokemon does that. No Pokemon changes its type by just leveling or trade. Some Pokemon may get a different subtype, like Seadra. It's a pure water type, but when it evolves into Kingdra, it gets a subtype of dragon. But it still keeps its water type. So subtypes can change, but they always keep their main type. Breeding. You can breed Pokemon as of Generation 2. Marowak, and if you were to breed 2 Marowaks, you would get a Cubone. But if you were to breed Kangaskhan, then you would get another Kangaskhan. Breeding is kind of interesting. You need a male and female Pokemon. Kangaskhan is a female-only species, considering it's the parent Pokemon, so it has to be a mother. But Kangaskhan, there are things called egg groups, and if 2 Pokemon are in the same egg group, then they can indeed breed and get offspring. It just so happens that Kangaskhan and Marowak are in the same egg group. So if you were to breed a Marowak and a Kangaskhan, you would get a Kangaskhan because it's always the species of the mother Pokemon. Okay? Now, I have some undeniable proof of why the Marowak side of the argument is correct. In in Lavender Town, after you get the Sylph Scope, you encounter at the end of Lavender Tower the ghost of Cubone's mother, which it turns out is actually a Marowak once it's revealed with a Sylph Scope. From before then, you would run into ghosts and they would be revealed to be a ghost type Pokemon, namely Ghastly or Haunter. But this last ghost is revealed to be a Marowak. Now, whether you battle the Marowak or catch the Marowak, it will always tell you that Marowak's spirit is at peace. But this shows, because people in the town are talking about Cubone's mother, and after you set Marowak's spirit at peace, people say that Cubone feels a little bit better because its mother's spirit is at peace. And this is undeniable proof of why Marowak is the mother of Cubone. So, with the evidence I have shown you, there is no doubt that Marowak is the mother of Cubone. Thank you. And just because it's me and just because it's for you guys, this is me, Thrasho2, saying be cool, save often, and don't do anything I wouldn't.